We were guessing who might be. We saw 2 people were waiting. We're now 7, so we're coming right in. So say hi if you're here. We're just going to let the class gather. Not like a brooding storm, but like you did when in the old days of school. The old days of school. It was scared to death of school when I was a kid. Scared to death. Here I am, making it fun. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. How are you, Judy? Yeah. How's Wichita? We had a beautiful day here today. Hi, Patty. We did have a moment here just a few minutes ago. I walked out of the studio into the family room. Little Killer was out there, and he brought in an almost dead shrew. Hi, Lee. You find us every time. I'm proud of you. Yep. So then it was, we've got an almost dead shrew, which is like a little mouse with a pointy nose. And then Boomer saw the little shrew and was like, "Ooh!" and I couldn't get anybody's attention. I was yelling. I was messaging with my phone. Hi, Christine. I'm ready for bed. No, it'll be good though when I do. Hi, Sue. So anyway, we got it out. Mr. Gunn came down in his big heavy work glove, and he came down and grabbed it, high 5K, and took it out and threw it in the neighbor's yard, which keep it from the dogs and shelter while it. Poor little guy. It's so pitiful, but Kerwin was sure happy. The shrew was sure pitiful, but Kerwin was, oh boy, was he happy. Puffed up like a killer. Ombre. When was it? Oh, last night. It was just last night. Kerwin, the killer cat, was out at the bird bath, and he caught a bird mid-air as it flew off, I believe, from the bird bath. There's nothing to hide behind either. It's just out in the open. So, raining in well, it's gotta rain sometimes, huh? Sunny and beautiful here. Looks like it's gonna rain all next week. That means crafting. I mean, I don't mind a rainy day because I like being in my room. So it's okay. Got a handful of folks here. I'm good with that. We got a lot to cover. You know, we have a lot to cover, but I already have 3 cards ready for next week. So hopefully I won't forget how to do them. Or the risk is I think I've got it all ready and I really don't. And gotta scramble. Oh, the dangers and the pitfalls of this business. Kerwin is an excellent hunter. He's just phenomenal. Very good. Well, I guess I can hit my intro and we can do this. All right. Yeah, he's a killer. He's like a muscle. He's just like this springy muscle thing. Wiry as all get out. Mess with him. I'm glad he likes me. All right, thanks for being here, you guys. Let's go to the intro and we'll be right back for class. Hi, I'm Mary Gunn. Welcome to Fun University. Hello, I'm Mary Gunn. I'm Mary Gunn Fun, founder and head professor of Fun University. Welcome to the May 13th, 2020 Cards Plus Lab. This is the second one of a series on gatefold cards that was inspired by one of our other shows, Craft Roulette. When we had Episode 60 and episode 45 both had gatefold cards, and there are so many different things you can do with them and teach from them. I thought it would be kind of a good time just to start breaking it down and seeing if we can make. Last week we talked about the flaps and different things you can do with that. I completely failed on my measurements, but it was like a not a bad fail. Unexpected adventure. And so I'll show you that one in just a second. But it was the burrito, also inspired by a craft roulette guest. Tonight we do have I don't cards maybe to work on, but we're going to talk about focal points, and that we are also going to be talking about foreground, background, noise, and how to kind of things. Well, hello there, Kim. Let's see what else. What else? Yes, the burrito card was a complete. I was talking to Katie Taylor today, and we were talking about lives, and we were laughing about lives, and I was going, my gosh, no, it's like because you just never know what's going to happen. But she does wonderful voiceovers, and I can't do wonderful voiceovers. Tongue tied, and I can't wander all over, kind of like now. But at the same, but you expect it on a live. Well, maybe not expect it, but you're more gracious than if you were. It's kind of like, what is she doing? But I'm not that person, so I don't do voiceovers. She does great voiceovers. I do live. She doesn't do live. Hi, Sherry. Um, but we are talking about foregrounds and backgrounds and noise. Okay, I'm gonna work with my microphone. Hang on. Okay, we'll try again. Hey, Travis. We don't want Sandy to have any trouble with gatefold cards. None of that. None of that. She's got enough skill, though, for over through any kind of card. How's that one, Steven? Is it working better? Killing time to check my. I'm doing better. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to talk about focal points and noise and background and foreground. We're also going to talk about some tips on folding. So get Sandy in the room. Spit spot, young lady. Want to thank Sherry for being here. Steven's here also. He'll probably be programming. Sherry will be our moderator for the night. Then I got a hunch if there's a question, she knows lots of answers. If you are here and you want to be in the chat, you need to log into your YouTube account. We appreciate if you share this, if you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button. We are a community supported program. We are not associated with any other companies, not paid by or anything, any other companies. So we do have a Patreon page that we always appreciate, and check it out. Let us review. Oh no, is this still bad? I'm so sorry. Want me to go on, or I'm going to turn this all the way off again. Take 3. That's a good point too, Sherry. Top chat to live chat. Yep, Judy, that's what. Okay. Hang on. Check, 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 check. All right, we changed microphones. Thank you. Hang on to all that stuff. Here we go again. All right. So first we're going to look over some of the other beautiful cards. One is right here. This is a beautiful example of a lovely gatefold, but this is a rather fancy gatefold because it's not just folded in and like opens like this, but it opens as a fold. So that one's pretty top shelf. I'm telling you, that's a patty back. Here's another one by that's a patty back. And that's pretty cool too. That's all just one right there. This is one we did last week. It was an acetate card. Acetate tape card. And then on the back, it had another somewhere. Gosh, you'd think this would be the easy part. Okay, it was backwards. That's what it was. So the acetate just opened up to this pretty, but you could put a secret message right there. And then you had a card that was backwards because I'm real good at stuff like that. Hi, Mary Lynn. And here's one that was an acetate gatefold. And I just put a black backing on it. You can do all sorts of stuff. This is the one that I was supposed to make. This was its pattern. And it was my burrito card. And it opens up. We have another card inside of it. It just slides right back in. Yeah, just as sweet as can be. And so this is the same paper. This is great for real pretty paper. This was the same paper. Oh, I didn't even put that one in there. The same paper backwards. And instead of making a pop folding card per se, I made a matchbook card inside. So you get pretty fancy there. That just, I wasn't sure what to do with this, so I just left it out. Let's stick it back in there. And then this was the goofball one. What I did was I had the measurements for an A2 size card, and I had a piece of paper that was cut, but I forgot to cut the end off. And so we ended up with a not quite 6x6 card. And then that just opens up into a big old card. And speaking of, this was proportion. This was the little cluster I had on here, and it looked too small for the big card. So I went ahead and just added a bigger vessel, so to speak, and made it have a little more room, which made it hold its own a little better. So that was that. We also, when did we make this? Did we make this last week, or was this in, might have been study hall. And then this is a gatefold where we had a pretty little panel, and we just cut it right down the middle. Oh, it was a little painful, but we did it. And then this was a gatefold, the belly band. Doesn't look like a gatefold now, does it? But surprise! It does. It opens up. There's another little top fold inside. I know. Now, if you put this on backwards, it doesn't line up. But if you do it this way, the buttons all line up, and it's almost like I'm an engineer. But nope. I can, not my shtick, man. But that's okay. That's that. Now, basically, to get an A2 size card, which is a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card, you take an 8.5 piece of cardstock by 11, and you go ahead and cut it at, I'm trying to think here, 5.5, just like you would do a normal card. Right, now we can make 2 gatefold cards. Let's get this guy out of the way. I have a couple ways that might be helpful for you. Get all this noisy stuff out of the way. Okie doke. This is a dust. Oh my gosh, that's dusty. Well, it sits in, it has, oh, I wonder if a Swiffer can clean that. Anyway, this is it's a dusty thing, and it's old. And so what I did was a 4.5, we're going to fold it like so. So each panel is going to be 4, so that we have a 4 1/4. It's going to be 2 1/8. Oh my gosh, this is so close to math. And so I went ahead and just marked the 2 1/8 spot on the folding doolally, and we're going to go ahead and just score it. But I'm only going to score one side. Right there on the doolally. Then that will give me a nice little crease. And then the thing that I can't do, because it's math, I can do that simple one. The thing I can't do is then make this the same size necessarily, but this would help. The dusty thing would help. But if you just bring this over and they kiss right there in the middle, if it's nice and straight, which it isn't, and then you just fold it down. And then you'll have a perfect gatefold, except that it's, because nothing's perfect that I do this, but you know what you can do at that point then. You just bring this guy back in, and you just shave it just a little bit. And now it's perfect. Perfect halfway. Perfect 100% of the way. Kiss our brains, we did it. Another way, if you don't have one of these dusty doolalies, you can take this half sheet right here. Now, what was my big idea with this? And I marked the center spot for a card base. Now, what was I thinking? I knew I had a great idea. And it's going to be like 4 1/8 inches in. So if we count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if this works. No, it's not going to work. No, it is. 1, 2, 3. Now what? Yes, 4. That's going to be it. So we're going to fold right to that spot. Or right to the edge of that tape, rather. And that's going to be 2 1/8. Don't ask me to do it again. Just have to rewind. And then kiss them again in the middle. And there you go. That's not so hard. Or you can just eyeball it. And if it's asymmetric, it's asymmetric, and life goes on and it's fine. But if you just kiss them in the middle and then push them down and then give them a good crease, you'll be pretty close every time. You can also make a mark down the middle if you want. You can also pinch the middle of the card if you want and then fold into it. There's any number of things. You can make a template with the crease in the middle, and then you can have the half of it, you know, like had a crease, just have it like this, and then you just fold into it. So there's lots of different things. Whatever works for you is the one that we want you to do, because that will make you happy. What type of paper cutter were I using? I was using Tim Holtz Tonic paper cutter. This little guy. It's pretty lightweight. I like that it's lightweight and that it has only an arm, so I can use all this space underneath for stuff. I gotta have my place for my stuff. Hey Rachel, how are you? That was study hall. I see, you always know. It's just got those last 2 cards were study hall. Okay, so let me show you what I'm thinking here. Let me get something out. Foreground and background, oftentimes the focal point will be brought forward because that's the thing that you want to pay attention to. So let's find one of these guys. Here we have a focal point right here, correcto mundo, and we want that to be pretty noisy so that your eye goes right there. There are certain things that you can do to make that happen more efficiently. This one's got a lot of noise on the background, but it's, you know, this is actually part of the design of the front. It's doing more than supporting the focal point. It's actually part of the design itself. Now, this, however, with the blue, it really needs more contrast. But got the focal point right here. It's in the center. That's not always a good thing, but it is in the center. It's got a little more pop to it with a loose piece. That's always a good focal point. It does have, I just couldn't decide where to put it. So it also has lines pointing to just the center where you go, oh yeah, my eye is going to go right in. This probably could be tamped down if I were really trying. Let's see, focal point, focal point. This one, where do you look first? Well, you do see the beautiful keeper in the background, but that hello is it's a eye grabber, isn't it? Focal point is something that you want to tell your audience to say, look at me. I'm the most important thing on this card first. You can look at everything else in a little bit, but right now I want you to look at me. So that hello absolutely does that job. And then these guys in the background are giving nice support, and it's kind of like, think of, okay, so you're watching a movie. Does everybody wear all the same bright clothes, or have you ever noticed how all the extras get real dingy clothes that need some Tide? They all run around with grays and browns and all these muted colors. That's because they are giving the spotlight or the focal point to the star, who will always have something real pretty and colorful. I think the queen does that. She wears really bright clothes, and I think it's so she stands out. That's the focal point, and that's just something that happens. The focal point says, look at me, I am the most important thing. It helps your audience to go, oh, I get what I need to look at here. This helps. So let's look at a couple options. This is kind of a silly sample. Silly Songs by Larry. But at the same time, it still works. So I made a red solo cup and I put fun on it because I felt like it. And you know, if you were going, and I did this on purpose too, but if you were going to use this and you wanted the back to show with the same pretty paper, I put white. Oh, I used white that's already been used. Well, shoot. But if you wanted the paper to be pretty on the background, just cut it twice as long, fold it over, and then close it up. And then you'll have the same paper without stuff on the back of it. And so when you open it, it's pretty. That's all. That's all. Well, you know, and always check your paper when you're using it for a mat. Oh, my stars. Okay, so if we have this as the focal point, we'll just stick it in the center for fun. And we start playing with different things to go in the background. We could have some plain red. And you definitely see the focal point mostly, right? You go right there to that fun cup. That's not too bad. Something that you can do on plain cardstock on a gatefold card that makes it really pretty. And you can go back on episode number Craft Roulette episode 60 and 45 and see all sorts of ideas too. But you can do an embossing folder on both of these, and then it will give it just a little bit more texture, just a little bit more interest. I'm not saying I know which is going to be the one that I like best yet. I just cut them out for fun. Another thing before I forget that is when you do cut these two panels and you're going to do an embossing gig on it, I suggest cutting the panel to be just a little bit bigger and go ahead and do both sides of the panel at one time before you cut it, and then decide how much you need to cut off. Cut it so it's a little straighter too, you know, just because highly trained professor. So this one is almost the same size as the card. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more. And I'm going to cut it in so it's three and a half total, because that won't be so hard to figure out where to cut it. And then we can cut it down the middle. And you can cut it down the middle and separate it so that you have the purple showing, or you can cut it down the middle and flesh them together so that it looks all one piece. And if you don't cut real well, let's see, 3.5, that's going to be like math. 1, Oh, you can always pinch it and find the darn middle. There we go. Close enough. Oh, good, because I was going to mess it up. All right. Isn't that wonderful? And then you can just bring it in like that. And then you won't have to worry about things lining up. Now, not all embossing folders, of course, have nice geometric lines and things. So a lot of them are helter-skelter. And that's another way to do it without haste or with haste and without waste or nervousness. So you can just stick that right on there. Makes it pretty fast, doesn't it? Then this is just a picture, an old close to my heart picture, my life card, which would also be known as a project life card, or all those kits have them. So I got a feeling you might have some if you bought a kit. This would be so simple to just put a saying on there, a little sentiment, and then stick it on. You'll be good to go. Or a little belly band and you'll be fine too. So that's just another way to dress up the back. So, but I'm not going to do that with this right now. But you can see how the focal point is the noise. It's popped up. It says, hello, look at me. Let's see what happens when we start putting things on that have a little more pattern. Going to have to fight a little more. Some patterns will be very supportive of their star. Some will not. In the case that something is a little too loud, you have several choices. Oh gosh, you've got more than that. You've got gazillions of choices. You can mute them by ink blending over the real stark contrast, or you can put some vellum. You can put tinted vellum even. You can put tissue paper around it. Other things that will take up some of the noise and still let you focus on that. That's not terrible, but it's not great. This one, I'm not sure that, I thought the stars might work with the stars, but I think that's just work. Now this would be one that you could even add some more. You could, if you had little coffee beans or something, you could add some more little coffee images or different things like that. You could ink blend it, something to make it not quite so. I like the contrast between the dark and the light. I don't care, and I like the red being picked up with that, but I think it needs a little. You could do some stenciling on top of that too, and that might tone it to make it work together as a background. Not as a look at me. What do you think? Do you see white first? Actually, don't. The chat's really slow. So but you see what I'm talking about, that there's a little bit, maybe too much guy and this guy. Maybe it's this background, this ball, but there's that too. You got to just look at all the pieces. If something's not quite fitting, there's a reason. Here's something. Ooh, now this one says, yeah, very important. And does it support that? I don't know. I think this guy is really hard to work with too. So might have been a bad idea, but it might be a great example of how that one's really strong. And something you could do with this is just have what would be cute is a black for the simple sentiment in the inside, and maybe some bright little colors or bugs or something that would zone. Would be a fun background. You'd have to be pretty strong. Yes, I think it was too stark with too much white, Mary Lynn. I do too. And then this one. And then of course you have to think of what are the reds going to fight each other, or one's kind of an orangey red, one's kind of a blue red. Is it all reds are kind of fighting? This is a little more orangey, but I like the pattern. A little quiet. Anyway, just some thinking. It's just some thinking. That's really what I wanted to do, was just kind of see it, work through it. Some of the process of working. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but what I did want to do was have fun on the outside and then put this one on the other side. So when you opened it, it might be better just to pick up some of these colors in it. If I had a star embossing folder, that would look good. Or if I had even, you could even have this one on a belly band, and then well, if you open it up, you could. There's so many things you can do. Then you take the belly band off and you open it up, and it goes, yeah, real fun. And so, anyway, lots of options. I'm trying to, I don't know. These have all these little, maybe just a gel pen with some. Or well, anyway. So that's just what you like the bold stripes? It's pretty bold. I like the bold stripes. I'm just not sure if I like it with it. I think this is the problem child. You could also double change them too. You don't stick with one thing. Oh, and you could do squares too of different patterns on the background. But if anything that's going to be really loud on the background, you're going to have to pop equal it. and that might mean more white space. It might mean double matting. It might mean triple matting. It might mean some popped up images. It might mean some bolder colors. But if you've got a lot of color in the background, you're going to want to have something to equal it and probably bring it forward on the foreground. Now let's see. I've got another card to show as an example. Okie doke. This is a card that is an example. What do you think? You like the smaller stripes? They're nice too. The solid red would look good with an embossing folder. I think your guys are getting it. Yeah, I do. You're seeing the difference, I think. Good. Yeah, I think you're right, Patty. I think the solid red would. If you had stars, solid red star embossing folder. Okay, so if you have this little guy, when I look at this, here's my focal point, correct? These guys, they're talking a little louder, aren't they? And so these guys they're cute, but they're kind of getting lost. They're kind of getting gobbled up into the background. The black helps. It does give you a little bit of pop, and it helps you go, yeah, that's important right in here. I can look at this. But there are different things that we can do to bring this even more interest. Oh, I am wired. I haven't been wired for weeks. I forgot what it's like to be tethered to the desk. Gosh, I hope I didn't screw up my microphone. Let me see if I can find just oh, looky here. Well, y'all, look at that. There's a little die cut that I can trim this just a little bit and it'll fit right on there. A little stitched die cut. I have noticed that one thing that's kind of trendy right now is, oh, that was a little too close. A little too close shave there, but that's okay. Ooh, see what I mean? It's filling things up with other things. So you take a jar or you take a hat or anything and you start filling them in. It's a good look right now. So we're going to go ahead and start with this. Even though I gave him too close a shave. Just the way it goes. Get the Stipic pen. Go. Another thing that we can do is give this guy some more color so that he's going to blend in better with all that color in the background. So to that end, I made some little fishies. That was that one. When I made the little fishies, I just colored some paper with Copics. I think we're going to have to cut his little tail off. And just stamped on top of it. When you do it that way, now which one is it? Is this one? When you do it that, he's swimming out. When you do it that way, you don't have to worry about the black ink or anything. You just you go ahead and do the Copic first, and then come back in. I wonder if I should cut. But is really coming out of that glass. This guy's kind of cute with it off too. I should have. Anyway, he is kind of cute coming. But it's not right. It's just, we'll just stick him on there and we'll cut him off. We'll put you on there and we'll cut you off too. And I always like, I'm not as good of fussy cutter as Miss Sandy is in the chat room there. And so I like to go ahead and stamp my on the project too. So if I get a little too close, as you can see, I may have a bad habit. We can go ahead and use that black line as long as we find it and hit it straight there. But that way you kind of have an extra little buffer for your creativity. But here, cutting him, fillet him a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna get a fishtail here too. Ow, ow! You didn't need that tail. I checked. You haven't been swimming. Okay, so we're already getting a little more. That's already popping up better, don't you? I think so. Went ahead. I do have a mask for this. And I left the mask. I left a little rim around the edge, as you can see, perhaps. Now it doesn't go right up to the edge, but you could go right up to the edge too. Then I have a really, usually I like to hold it up to the window to see, because this is just copy paper so I can see through. But I can't see through it when it's flat. So anyway, that's what I like to do, and then come in with a bit of a brush. I'm just going to line up the where I've brushed already. And give it a bit more color. Yes, I should tape it down. Yep, yep. Like it. I'd do it. Gonna hold my tongue just right. But if you are doing this at home, you should have it nicely laid out and go ahead and tape it down. I don't. Oh, I should have gone off on the edge too. I want the inside to look a bit hazy because that light will draw your eye into that. Now another thing on this guy, we can pull our eyes into this a little bit better too. I know, Sherry, I'm going to have to clean this up and just give it a little bit of an edge. A little bit of ink blending goes a long way in design, let me tell you. Whoopsie. I'm going to get my brooms out. I think we started with a card that was pretty ho-hum, and I think we're going to end up with something pretty reasonable. And I just used the same colors when and there was with the stamp set, there were some circles, so I just went ahead and stamped them all at once. And I did stamp them with this thing closed, and so the little triangle that I had going on. Since this doesn't have anything, it's going to be covered in the middle. I don't worry about that. And if you have a little more halo around the focal point, you're going to have a little more pop. Pretty boring, but he's kind of cute. So what we can do, let me clean this up before Sherry has a conniption. I know, poor little guy. It's been a rough night at the house. Now, if you look at cards and they're all, there's nothing wrong per se of not having your focal point pop out. Don't get paranoid. But at the same time, let's, you know, if I do it, let's do it this way. I'm going to pick up the right side. Maybe right side seems to be a little tucked under. I'm going to pick up the right side. Oh! And basically find out where the halfway mark is. Basically, don't have to worry about it. I am not the engineer. I just don't want to get in. Oh, there goes the dogs. Who knows what the dogs are barking about? We could have a raccoon in the house at this point. And so then we go ahead and get the glue boogers off. Make sure that, yep, there's a little bit of glue right there. Rub it off. We're good. Rub some dirt in it. And there we've got that. Another thing I did was I had some little scraps of my little painted, my little things. And I just cut some little darling. Got my little, what is this? Confetti die out. And just cut some of these little pieces of confetti. I thought, well, let's just see how that goes. Maybe that would be kind of fun too. So I just cut some confetti and we can put those along around too. We could put those with these guys too. Not blue, not. The dogs are just nuts. That's all there is. I'm listening to him talk about dog logic, and there's not much going on in dog logic in the next room. So maybe we should just put these guys all together. I don't like that real close to there. These are just very superfluous. They're kind of fun. Got a couple more little fishies too, but see, he's so bright. I could have put, he could have gone there. He's so bright, I don't think I want, but see, okay, here's another thing. When you're trying to get a focal point, you can throw something out there that doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of the card, and that will definitely get your eye. But I decided not to use that one this time. So I'm going to show you another way that I try to avoid. Oops. I got some glue there. That's going to decide where to put the heart. Thank you, thank you. Oh, a couple more little details. If you have more details going right in there, that's going to draw your eye too. Another thing, even though you want to have attention, I personally like things to rather work together. And so I would avoid something, even though there are purples and greens in this, I would avoid adding something that was quite a bit different than the purples and greens in the card. And I think I would rather use something that was a little more supportive, just like the movie theater, movie scenes that we talk about. Probably we could even put those right here. I'm sticking to it, man. I'm a sequin. Sticking to it. We'll just see how this looks. You don't have to glue it down. Gosh. Loving me. Big. Because it's several. There's a cute. Toss it away. The clear one. We have a. I also did a little stenciling on here. It wasn't very good. That was just a little bit of the blue. We'll just throw these on because it's. We never know what's going to be in a tank of guppies. Keep swimming, keep swimming. If you had a stamp that said that, or just write the inside message that said keep swimming, you'll be a happy fish before. Oh, gee. Anyway, I think we took that card from a pretty blah card. I don't have a sample of it being blah, but I think we took that card from a pretty blah card to a pretty decent card with a nice bit of quiet but pretty busy background. and giving those little fish a little more pop. And now, you know what? One more thing on the. If they are a little shiny, they are gonna be better. So get out the good old Stella. Stella Winka? Is that what we were talking about it the other night? Stella Winka? I really am due for a new one. Look at that. That is just pathetic. But I just think it's a new technique because it's got all this. I have all these extra little shines. I better do some extra shines down here. Just to make it look like I did it on purpose in that part. There we go. Bad head. It's got bad head. Okay. Go. Another one. That is Stella. Yep, I think that's fine. Does that help? Yeah, it turned out okay, didn't it? Yeah, yay. A mat would be a great layer. I could have done another mat even, and it would have been even more helpful. Be another white one or something. The fish jar needs a mat. Yep. All right, let's try something. So I got one of these though, and I'll see if I can do something with it. Let's just, where's my lovely mask? I will hold it up to the fading light. Tape on. Since I happen to have some tape handy here, pull that one down too. Let's just get a couple flowers. Something that doesn't have too much effort. Something simple. Come on in. Come on. Oh, we don't want to put butterflies in a jar. That's kind of sad. Here's a one with flowers. That we could put a worm in a bottle. Seems reasonable. Go with a bright red, shall we? We have this nice and bright. Except my ink's really failing. I have been saying that for the longest time, and I don't get it any. That's probably good enough for that. I am the worst when it comes to pulling that trigger when I'm getting something. So let's see. We could put a little. Here's a little flower. Do little. Ooh, ad stamp. What else do we have in that little guy? This is an agent. We could put, let's go ahead with a different color flower. Same shape because we only have two with a different color. Let's go with this real pretty blue-green. Should have started in the middle. Wouldn't be in this predicament. But I am. I haven't a leaf. But you know, I bet you I can find a oh, instead of a leaf, I've got some little dots. We'll just do some dots. Oh, oh, it says because. We could use that. Just because. We could use both of those. Now, can I get what I want? There's one. Right. Ooh, that one might be a little too bright. With the illusion. Give it the illusion of green leaves. We don't always have to be literal. So it makes me greatly happy. I've got to. There we go. Rid of this. Try to remember where it goes. Oh my, such difficulties. Let's find a little. Honestly, this is The nicest thing that I get to do. I get to pretend I'm still in grade school. Hated grade school. I loved art. And so I am not playing. Yep, that looks just lovely. And I'm not going to get uptight about it. And because. Oh, we've got it. Let's see. Oh, look. We'll just get a little blue halo there. And we've got that cutaway too, so kind of outline. See? You know, another thing, if you want to make a jar lid look like it's open and not shut, don't color it in. Because then it will just look like the rings. But if you color that in silver, then it's going to look like if you do put a butterfly like that, it's going to look like that poor butterfly is fire soon from. And I don't suppose that it takes much oxygen for a butterfly. Same time, they've got to have something. Going organic. Yeah. Cute. So today I was looking for some brads. I couldn't find them, but I did manage to go through several drawers. So that was exciting. And I came up. Sometime I'll come up with it and tell you about it. But I came up with an entire German system of organizing, and I don't know. Sometimes wonder whether I should be left alone for a very long time without human contact. Put those guys right there. Ooh, they'll be fresh. Oh. Back there. Right, that's straight. Now on the background, what I think I'm going to do on this, whoa, what's under there? Then it just went, no moss, no moss. Kind of malarkey. This was a bonus card I did not. But I was just having so much fun crafting, I just couldn't quite stop. Okay. So this guy needs a little background too. He's going to go on, I have all these guys. So what I think I'm going to do on these, give them a good crease. Give them a good, let's see if we can get them to hold still. Grab a, oh, I should have done this backwards, but that's okay. I should have brought with the, should have made the tape go up and then put the card in. It's okay. More than one way to skin a, oh, I don't want to say that. That's awful. And a cat, isn't that awful? And then we'll get one more piece. If we'll be nice and secure, we're good. And one of my favorites, it's gray backgrounds. So I could do a background that covers more, has more presence, but I'm just going to go with these little lines. And if we don't like it, we'll use it for something else. One of those ubiquitous blending brushes. Thought it was the ubiquitous carbon atom, but nope, it's the ubiquitous blending brush. Oh, hi, Sharon. Oh, good. You always say the ubiquitous blending brush. I think I might give it one more little bunch. They do work beautifully for this kind of thing. I gotta hand it to them. There's so much dog fur on my masking tape that it is extra low tack because of the dog fur. And I've got one more little. I think I'm gonna something there. Oh, I'm tethered again. Dadgum, how fast I forget. Will she pull her? Oh my goodness. That's okay. Always something here. Always. You know what I'm thinking? Doesn't that just pop that right up? Mm-hmm. Go ahead and give it that layer. We could maybe go red too. That might be pretty. Got the sentiment on there. We've already good shape. There's more dog fur. Boomer's DNA, though he be neutered, it's everywhere because he just has fur everywhere. Okay, so if I cut 2 little strips and make that in the middle, I wonder if that would look good. Let's just try it. Oh, don't cut the microphone. So right there. There. I know it's a little shorter, but that's okay too because we're gonna put it up. Well, not this side. That might not be it. But we could do it this way, I think. Something along those lines. Let's go ahead and one more thing. Until I think of the next thing. Go ahead and just put this right along here. Give ourselves a little glue line. By jingo, it's gonna be pretty straight too. Feeling pretty engineering. I know it's going to close it up, but we can cut that, no problem. So try. Here's this thing, you know, has a lip. This part is if you do it this way, it doesn't work. It just runs right through it. So if you do it one way, it snags, and so I just wrote sup. What's up, man? You know, I'm hip. And so that I would know which way it should go. Could use my knife, but because look at there, it's not very good. But that's the side we'll put this guy because we can cover that up. Lickety split. Okay, I'm going to do it righter. Up. Add the adhesive right there. Close him down. Sing and dance. Song along a ding dong. Like Sandy and I were singing in the group. If you do want to join us on our Facebook group, it's very fun. It'll be all down in the description. Hocus pocus down below. You know what I think would be cuter on this is if this isn't quite so big. So I think we're going to trim it to make it a different size. So he's a little square. I think he's darling. Okay, he has arrived at darling enough. So we're going to go darling enough. My friend and cousin. I think we're good with that. And then maybe some of that crazy stuff that I call, that would be, maybe some little black dots would be nice. Very, very small ones. Or black centers. Or black gems. Or black nouveau drops. Try that. I mean, paper. We're just at the end of the ball game. Why would we do something that would make sure that we don't have a problem? This is where you can smudge and make a mess in the whole project. Okay, don't touch it. Don't touch it. There we go. I think we're good. Right, I think that's it. So now we've got the foreground, definitely the focal point. No fighting with the background. The background is saying, looky, looky, I got Hooky. This is my friend. He's the one that we want you to see. Your eye can rest. Your audience goes, oh, I know what you want me to look at. Thank you so much for your help. We've talked about this little guy. We talked about the background and cutting things nicely so that your life is easy. We talked about different ways to fold a gatefold so that you can always have success, or at least close to it. You know, and success doesn't have to be perfection. Remember that. And it's what every imperfect crafter says. But hey, it's true. And then you can also doll up the focal point to make it a little louder and tone down the background so that it's a little less loud. And you can do that by multiple ways. There's multiple ways. But when you are putting together just even a centerfold or any kind of card, just think, where do you want your viewer to look? And help them out. Give them a little sense of focal point, a little bit sense. Think of the noise that's going on. Think about just helping them out to know what they want to do. So that's all I got for tonight. What else do we have? That's enough, isn't it? So I'll be back next Thursday with round 3 of Gatefold cards. We're going to be getting a little fancier. We've got some extra fun folds to go with those fancy folds. Tuesday we'll be back with study hall, and heaven knows what you're going to come up with. Let me show you what we did this Tuesday. Go away. I'm going to put him up here so I don't touch. Of course, I will forget where he is. This is what we ended up with last Tuesday. We had a barrel cactus stamp, and we made tulips, and we ended up with some guys with turbans. We ended up with an olive. This was something else that and there's another tulip. And we ended up with some Audrey Hepburn flower pot heads. So, yes, you never know what we're going to do. But study hall's just very loose and freeform. So is this. So anyway, can you imagine no. Voiceover? No, thank you. No, thank you. What else do I want to tell you? I do hope that you just feel some relief and some excitement about crafting. It's fun. Don't make it hard. Don't make it... use the tricks you learn, but don't stress about it, and make it fun and enjoy it. Anything that you make from your heart is going to be something that is going to be appreciated. So just roll with it. If you do want ideas, go to thecraftroulette.live. There are so many cards there. So many cards. Also, on marygunfun.com, there is a pretty extensive update on what we're doing, what we've changed this week, including contributor showcase changes. We're not going to do it anymore. It's just too long and not worth it. And I love talking about your cards, though. So I'm going to be using your inspiration from Craft Roulette contributions for the classes. That'll be cool, too. What else? The Patreons we've done some more benefits. What else? Can't remember what else we talked about. But you can go there. You can find it, marygunfun.com. All your cards are good. Oh, you're a good girl. I know they're fun, aren't they? They're just what we talked about the first week was they're just a way to make them personalized that you could not buy. Most people can't buy a Gatefold card. There are so many things you can do with it, though. It's just a fun beginning, fun fold. Fun. Tomorrow night we've got Biddy Penny. She's a blast. What an interesting character she is. You'll want to join us at 6:30 Central Time on the Craft Roulette YouTube channel for Biddy Penny. She's excited to join us, so we'll see what she comes up with. She's pretty exciting. She's a pretty fun girl. So she has a real interesting job too. HA.com. It's like auctioneering famous and real exciting stuff. So we were talking about scrapbooking, and I was saying, how much do you think Thomas Jefferson's mother's scrapbook would be? And so that's why I scrapbook, so that when somebody in my family down the stream becomes very famous, they will have scrapbooks they can sell. And that You're going to be in your red chair, that a girl, Sharon. Not worry about any more income because they will have it auctioned off and live high on the hog. Well, here we go. We're excited to be here tonight. I think I'm going to like this. I felt so much more pressure when we were a premium station. I was like, oh no, this is easy. This is fun. One for me, one for you. We thank you so much for being a part of our life. Please share us. If you want to lose some friends, go ahead and share us. And then subscribe, notify, and give us that big old thumbs up. Appreciate it a lot. Appreciate you a lot. See you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.